Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana, the Florida Panhandle, and growing. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. LSU opens play in the College World Series on Sunday against TCU, a TCU club that's been there before, a TCU club that can pitch very well, an LSU club that has two very good starting pitchers, elite offense, but a defensive and pitching-minded ballpark in TD Ameritrade.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how this ballpark plays this time around with the flat seam baseballs and just how much of a difference it's going to make. It's been a real concern for college baseball as a whole that when you get to this stage that it's playing like Yellowstone, really, and in terms of size of ballpark. So let's see how it plays and how offenses, and teams choose to play it as well. As we look at specifically at this LSU-TCU matchup, though, LSU showed signs there in the last 3 innings of the super regional clinching game of maybe getting out of its offensive funk a little bit. Alex Bregman in particular, you made the point that maybe, finally knowing his draft status and going number 2 overall to the Astros may take a significant weight off of his shoulders. Now he's going to play very well in Omaha. Let's see how that plays out. And for this LSU offense as a whole, where a lot of these guys found out their draft status as well. It wasn't just Bregman, and it could end up being a team that next year turns out a whole new lineup as a result of as many of these guys going as high as they did. But this is a very good TCU team, obviously. They were a national seed just like LSU, and they've got very good starting pitching.
Yeah, they really do. Figures to be very low scoring. Got to like LSU's chances with their lineup balance, with their speed, with the experience that Lenny alluded to, and with their 2 starting pitchers. And, of course, one only to be used against TCU, but certainly you have to like that one. He's awfully good. So figures to be a low-scoring game. Got to be able to execute, and you got to catch the ball and not issue walks. And we'll see what happens. We'll have coverage from Omaha at SportsNOLA.com. The Zephyrs remain home in baseball with Omaha this weekend. As they continue their long homestand, they've struggled a little bit of late.
Yeah, and, you never look. The great thing about minor league baseball is sometimes you get a chance to see some big leaguers. Jared Cozart, who was in the Astros organization, traded to the Marlins last year, down on a rehab assignment, trying to work his way back up to the big show. He gets to start on Thursday night. So, a chance to see some of those guys. One you remember this one. One of the best nights I saw just pure baseball at the ballpark was Wade Miller on a rehab assignment for the Zephyrs, pitching against a guy on the way up named Mark Pryor, which is arguably one of the best pitch games that we ever saw at Zephyr Field that night. So you just never know what you're going to get to see in terms of some of those big league guys either on the way up or making a quick stop back down on their way back up to the big leagues.
No question. Saints, of course, OTAs wrapping up and media access so you can read both Ed Daniels and Brian Alley Walsh's take from their OTA opportunity for the media, which they had on Wednesday. And after this, Lenny, they'll shut it down to the Greenbrier.
Right. Well, next week, minicamp, which the public gets a chance to see and your real chance to kind of check out what is going on with the Saints. But again, after that, it's over for another little over a month, and then we'll reconvene in West Virginia late in July.
Of course, everybody with an opportunity to get out next week and see the Saints, and we'll see how that works. The New Orleans VooDoo at home playing a Friday night game against Cleveland, a team they've lost to twice previously, and they've lost 5 straight, has New Orleans, and the struggles continue.
Yeah, and it's been tough, but again, it's any given night, you go out and play a solid game, and they've been very, very competitive in a couple of these games along the way. If you could put a solid effort together, you just never know.
Continue to follow the NBA Finals, of course, and boy, the NHL Finals been awfully good. 4 games and 4 one-goal games. I mean, that's only happened twice previously in the history of the Stanley Cup Final. Yeah, it's evenly matched teams there.
It is evenly matched teams. By the way, did you see this? The sounded almost Sean Payton-esque with the injury to the goaltender for Tampa Bay. Right. They don't announce it at all. It's like all of a sudden they go out on the ice and he's not out there. And all it is, it's a lower body injury. That's apparently all I have to say is like upper body or lower body in the NHL. It's like, Sean Payton would be proud of those kind of injury reports, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty soon it's just going to say physically unable. How's that? Or something like that. Injury report / physically unable. All right. Whatever the case may be, so be it. American Legion Baseball continuing. You can follow daily reports. Sidney Parfait providing for us on American Legion Baseball as well. So we're getting into that little bit of a dry area in local sports, but certainly LSU keeping the hope alive, the torch alive with the national championship shot. And, of course, we'll continue to follow the Zephyrs and the VooDoo through the summer before Saints training camp convenes.
And look, we are already countdown to football mode. Check out our stories regularly here as we start previewing things as the high school football season, of course, coming. I'll have a story coming up here in the next day or so as well. I had a great visit with Tulane Athletic Director Rick Dixon, just the state of their program after 1 year in the American Athletic Conference, of course, now with Yeoman Stadium having been completed, and just the, where things are uptown. A pretty interesting visit there.
Yeah, daily high school football previews of teams, not just in New Orleans, but throughout the state. You can check those out, and they're varied, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them. Maybe even we'll have Tony actually write one sooner or later.
Hey, yeah, everybody contributes. It's a team where everybody does everything here at SportsNOLA.
If you can just get a certain school to respond.
Exactly.
It's all good, man. We're just having fun. It's inside stuff. All right. So that is our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. Have a great week. I'm Kenny. You have a great week, too, and God bless.